let's take a look around now at some of the other teams on Tennessee's schedule in 2025. And for the most part, you had a lot of non-conference games this weekend, and you're going to pretty much into next weekend. It's really not until October starts where you really start to see these conference games pop up more. Syracuse responded with a 66-24 win over Colgate on Friday night. You had another game between Mississippi State and Alcorn State, 63-0 in favor of Mississippi State. Not a ton going on there that you shouldn't know about or that you have to know about just because, Alcorn State's an FCS team. Kentucky beats Eastern Michigan 48-23. That looks a lot better than their win over Toledo. One thing to note in that game, Cutter Boley was the quarterback for Kentucky, not Zach Calzada. They also gave up a ton of pass yards to Eastern Michigan in that game. I want to say it was 330 when I checked the box score, which is kind of a lot. So I don't know what that's all about up there at Kentucky. Oklahoma won 42-3 at Temple. I guess the fact that it's at Temple makes it a little bit more impressive, but Temple's not a very good team this year, I wouldn't say. Looking around now, Louisiana Tech beat New Mexico State 49-14. New Mexico State is your third to last game of the season. Other non-conference teams, ETSU loses 31-35 to West Georgia, who I had no idea was a D1 football school until this week. UAB beat Akron 31-28. That is Tennessee's next opponent. We'll talk about that game more near the end of the show. But you did have a few other games of significance, some of which were SEC games, others of which, one in particular, was not. Starting at the beginning of the schedule here with some of the bigger ones, Arkansas here in a couple weeks is who Tennessee plays. They lost 41-35 to Ole Miss. That's their SEC opener. First really big game of the season for Arkansas. I still don't know what to think about either one of those teams. I think Ole Miss is pretty good. They're not exceptional, I don't think, this year like they were the last couple seasons. Like I don't think they're anywhere close to as good as what they were defensively. They showed some signs of life on offense. Actually started a different quarterback than Austin Simmons. Trinidad Chambliss was his name. I believe he transferred in from Butch Jones's alma mater, Ferris State, to Ole Miss. But no, they did well offensively. Didn't run the ball super well, but I think they were able to throw it pretty well too. And that quarterback was running all over Arkansas too. But offensively, Arkansas played pretty well. 35 points to show for, obviously. I think the final numbers through the air and on the ground were 305 and 221, which is a pretty good day at the office. Only turnover in this game for Arkansas was a literal fumbling away of an opportunity in the final 2 minutes after they had crossed the 50-yard line, which obviously hurts a lot. But Taylon Green taking good care of the football this year for the most part. He's thrown 2 interceptions so far, both against Arkansas State. Went back and watched those highlights just to see what happened on those throws, and it was just situations where he couldn't locate the defender. I think the first one, it was like the linebacker just was looking toward the sideline, and then he looked at Taylon Green and he's like, oh, there's a football coming. I'm going to pick it off. And then the other one, Taylon Green, he threw the ball well, but a little too far right, and then the defender saw it, snuck behind the wide receiver, and made a play on the ball. But overall, Arkansas looks very nice offensively. They got a couple more big tests before they get to Tennessee and Memphis and Notre Dame. But it's always tough to read Arkansas with Sam Pittman because on paper, they look like they could be really good some years, but they only end up winning like 6 or 7 games at most in a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee, we've mentioned a couple of times on the podcast before, I feel like Tennessee's got to put it on Arkansas this year. But, yeah, they are looking pretty good offensively, like looking at their stats. I mean, you're reading off some of Taylon Green's stats. And he's also got 300 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. And then, like you said, those 2 interceptions you saw were not really his fault. And he's got 11 touchdowns to match with it, almost 900 yards.
Well, you got to see the defender there. I will argue that point at the very least. But no, they're not quite as bad as the ones he was throwing last season.
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely seems like he stepped it up a bit. I mean, I'm not sure how else Arkansas the rest of their offense is. I mean, some of the receiving stats aren't half bad on here, but yeah, I mean, Arkansas, Tennessee's just got to win that one though.
Yeah.
When they come into the town, like I don't care how good Arkansas is. You can't allow that to happen twice.
Yeah, I do feel mildly concerned though after this week if that's what they're going to do offensively. That you could be looking at a shootout in that game potentially. If Tennessee doesn't get healthy on the defensive side of the ball. Moving on down here, you've got Alabama beating Wisconsin 38-14. I don't think Wisconsin's a very good football team.
No.
I think people are overreacting to that win by Alabama. It's like, oh, they made a statement. No, Alabama didn't make a statement. Wisconsin's not good. That's the worst Power 4 team on their schedule. And they played them at home. They were not good last season. They're not good again this season. Luke Fickell could get fired by the end of this year, honestly. That gives me no more hope. Like, unless they go into Athens and just absolutely carve up Georgia's defense and win by like 20 points, you're not going to convince me that Alabama's a superpower right now.
Yeah, no, and actually one of my closest friends, he's from the Wisconsin area, and he's a Wisconsin fan. I was talking to him about the game after the fact, and he said that Wisconsin's an absolute train wreck. He's complaining about getting transfer quarterbacks each year that aren't panning out. He's done with Luke Fickell, and I joked with him that they should just go ahead and get Brett Bielema back.
Yeah, it might not be a terrible idea.
Maybe so. I mean,
because Bielema left on his own terms to go to Arkansas. It's not like they fired him.
Yeah, so and he was good there.
Yeah, maybe you steal him back from Illinois if you'd really like to do that, because he was the coach when Russell Wilson was there, and that's when they were multidimensional on offense, not just a run-first offense. But no, I don't think my opinion of Alabama has not been raised any since they dropped that loss the first week against Florida State. Going to need to see what they can do in SEC play to really get a feel for them. Moving on down here, you've got a couple more games of interest later on in the schedule. LSU taking down Florida 20-10 in Baton Rouge. Florida's defense is actually looking pretty good, believe it or not. They've only given up 38 points in the first 3 games of the season. You would think that with a very talented quarterback like DJ Lagway, they'd be just fine. But they threw 5 interceptions in that game against LSU. I think what it is LSU is just a better version of what Florida is right now. LSU's underperforming on the offensive side of the ball, but they look very nice on defense. Florida also very much underperforming on that side of the ball. Very, very underwhelming start to their season. And I think they're wanting to chase Billy Napier out of town. I really do.
Well, I was seeing like some records before. I think after that loss that I think he's got a negative record now at Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And his record is actually worse than like all of those other coaches that have been shuffled in, which you wouldn't think. Like, it was worse than Dan Mullins. I want to say it was worse than even Will Muschamp's record at Florida. And like, they shuffled in a couple of bad coaches there too, with McElwain as well. So, I mean, I don't know if Billy Napier's going to stay there much longer. I mean, based on especially all the hype Florida's had going into the season, they already got 2 losses. I mean, I don't think Florida fans are going to be very happy about that.
No, and I don't think they're very happy about College Game Day going to Miami just to supercharge that atmosphere down there, which has been dormant for a long time. And it is kind of funny to me that College Game Day is going down to Miami for that game, but like Florida, if Carson Beck can really come out and spin it, it could be a disaster for Florida again, like it was last season in the Swamp against the Hurricanes. And again, no Group of 5 or FCS teams left on that schedule for Florida. It's all SEC, Miami, and Florida State from here.
Not only has Miami been like doing good this season too, but you got to factor in that Carson Beck probably knows Florida better than almost anyone in the country. I mean, he's going to go in there. He knows what to expect from Billy Napier and them. So, I mean, it's going to be, I think it could be an absolute train wreck for Florida, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, last team on Tennessee's schedule is, of course, Vanderbilt, who broke a prolonged losing streak this weekend at South Carolina with an emphatic 31-7 win over the Gamecocks. It's hard to tell with Vanderbilt because I think you absolutely have to say they're not the same old Vanderbilt team because last time they beat two teams on the road by 24 or more points is something I don't know the answer to in back-to-back weeks or in back-to-back road games in general. Like I've seen them win on the road before, but they don't usually do so like that. The last year where they had a win like that on the road, that was that emphatic, was a 40-0 win against a Joker Phillips Kentucky team in 2012, I believe. And that's been a while. So I think you definitely have to look at Vanderbilt as a different animal now. Although I will say this, they're 3-0, and they have two kind of crappy non-conference games coming up in Georgia State, who they did lose to last year, but it is in Nashville. And then they got Utah State at home. So they could be 5-0 going into SEC play, or at least the meat of SEC play, I should say, because they've already beaten South Carolina. But you look at the two teams they've beaten on the road. Number one, you beat Virginia Tech 44-20. We discovered this weekend that Virginia Tech is an awful football team. They lost 45-26 to Old Dominion Fire Brent Pride. They're 0-3. They're not good. So you would hope Vandy could win a game like that. And number two, the minute Lenora Sellers left that game, the wheels came off the train. Dylan Stewart got ejected as well for open fist punching Diego Pavia as well. It just became a whole dumpster fire for South Carolina. And if Sellers is in fact hurt, I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback in the world, but that takes a lot of wind out of South Carolina's sails. So looking at Vanderbilt, you can't deny what they've done on the field, but at the same time, let's see what they can do against some of these other SEC teams before we go making assumptions about how great they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see when Vanderbilt comes to Knoxville. I mean, I've been predicting from the very start that, I mean, it's could be the loudest game of the year for Tennessee, considering all the stuff that Diego Pavia's said in the offseason and whatnot. But I mean, Vanderbilt, I mean, just on paper, it seems like they've been doing pretty good so far. And, you know, Diego Pavia has still been pretty efficient for the most part as well. I mean, he's only thrown 2 interceptions for the season. And a pretty good completion percentage as well, 73.5. I'm going to be very interested to see how that Alabama game goes this year, considering what happened. And I know Alabama fans, that's probably the worst thing that's happened to them in like about 20 years. So I wonder if Vanderbilt can repeat it or not, or if Alabama's going to come out there and put on a fight. But I mean, the way that Alabama's been playing this year, I wouldn't be surprised if it'd be a close game. But I mean, as far as Tennessee and Vanderbilt goes, I think Tennessee is probably going to play one of their better games, I would imagine, against Vanderbilt, even if they are a good team. I mean, Tennessee should never lose to Vanderbilt, and that crowd is going to be electric.
Yeah, it should be very loud. And if all goes according to plan, that could be a game where Tennessee is fighting to get into the college football playoff. So, granted, you have to take care of business on the road and then again at home against Arkansas and Oklahoma. But it's not an impossibility. We'll just put it that way. I think this offense gives you a chance to hang in there with anybody this season.